Now for Peter Surfaroo.
Join Pete for a special 4-part episode at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Pete the Surfaroo, and we're here with Greg David, Sales and Marketing of Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. How are you, mate?
Good, Pete. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Now, mate, you sort of do the overall look of Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary.
I do.
Now, can you tell us a bit about the history of Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary?
Yep.
And, of course, also what's involved, and then you're going to pass us on to Rory.
Yeah,
Yep.
will do. Yeah, perfect. Okay, Pete, well, literally Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary was started by accident back in 1947. The founder of the property, Alex Griffith, now we're effectively sitting in the backyard of his house. He was a beekeeper and he also grew flowers, and the reason he grew flowers was actually to feed his bees. So when you used to pull up down here in Toomans Street, you could get bunches of gladiolas and you could buy pots of honey, and that's how it all used to sell. So what Alex found was over a period of time that the wild lorikeets came in the morning and came in the afternoon to actually feed on his flowers because they're nectar eaters. So that's why I mean this happened by mistake. So effectively all these wild lorikeets started coming in. All the local people noticed that was going on, and suddenly he found he had an accidental tourist attraction. So Alex started feeding the lorikeets, and more people, not just from inside Australia but all over the world, started to come to see this natural phenomenon of the lorikeets actually coming to this area. So that's how the sanctuary actually started.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Now, lorikeets, are they Gold Coast based or are they all around Australia?
No, the lorikeets themselves are all over Australia, usually on the coastal areas.
Yep.
This particular area here, we have two varieties of lorikeets. We have our rainbow lorikeet that you can see, notice them by their really bright colours. They're reds, yellows, greens and blues. We also have our scaly-breasted lorikeets, which are a little bit smaller, green head, and they have little yellow flecks that look like scales, hence the name scaly-breasted lorikeets.
Sure. Now, you've got quite a lot of animals here in this park, mate.
We do.
Mate, can you tell us about the croc? Now, there's a bit of history from the croc.
There is, we do, yeah. Now, we've got effectively 92 species here in the sanctuary. So from its humble beginnings of just looking after lorikeets, it grew and grew and grew, and we got a lot of native animals brought to us. So that's how we sort of grew into being a native wildlife park. We now have 92 species with 807, I think was last count, animals in total. Now, as you mentioned, we do have a pretty sensational saltwater estuarine crocodile that we call Holy. Now, he's called Holy because when you see the size of him, people go, holy moly, that's a big crocodile. He's big. So ultimately, Holy is 40 years old, and he was brought to us from the Edward River crocodile farm. Now, Holy was hatched there, and so that's how we know how old he is. Now, crocodiles usually grow with age and how much food they eat. So subsequently, for Holy to be 40 years old, and he is 5.4 metres in length, or so we think, because no one's been brave enough yet to jump in and actually get a proper measure on him. So if you volunteer later on, mate, Rory can take you in there. But literally, Holy came to us about 8 years ago. He was beating up all his girlfriends because he was a breeding crocodile, but he was a male and he was dominant and he was strong and he just wanted food. So he beat up all the girls, so he had to come out of that pen, and literally it was either a handbag or coming down to somewhere like here. So we rescued Holy from the handbag, and he's basically one of the stars of our show down here. And he's basically destined to live life on his own now as an old grumpy bachelor.
Wow, good lifestyle. Now, you've got a lot of tourists coming from overseas to this destination here. And now you're all self-funded here?
We are. Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary is a not-for-profit organisation, so every cent that we make goes back into the sanctuary, and we also rely very heavily on donations. Now, in this area here, this is all free in the lorikeet arena, so anyone can come anytime for free into this area, which is very, it's the way Alex intended it to be. We put a donation box down here, and you can come and get a silver plate to come and feed the lorikeets. So you put a gold gold coin donation into that box. We feed the lorikeets. Now 100% of that money goes to our wildlife hospital. So I suppose the thing with a wildlife park is people, when they find an injured animal, they naturally think of bringing them to here.
Yep.
So our hospital has, since about '89, has actually released 40,000 native animals back into the wild over that period of time. So it's a lot of animals. Now, at the moment, per year, we're probably still taking about 6,500 animals each year, and that can be ranging from crocodiles, little ones that we get injured from other areas, koalas, we get kangaroos, we get snakes, we get water birds, you name it. Any native Australian animal that ends up injured within a Brisbane to Ballina to Toowoomba area literally can end up here at the sanctuary in the hospital. So, and that is completely unfunded at the moment, and we work very hard on raising the money to keep that side, the community side of the hospital, open.
Well, it's a great Aussie incentive, like people out there, that would like to donate some money to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. This is the place to do it, because they really do look after animals, and if you're an animal lover like me, I just appreciate you guys for doing such things for the poor animals out there that do get wounded or treated badly from other people. And of course, even animals from the bushfires and floods.
Absolutely.
Come to you?
Yeah, absolutely. During the recent Brisbane floods, we got quite a few animals that were displaced. We had a lot of little baby echidnas actually came in during the floods, because echidna's been a burrowing animal, and the floods, obviously water rises. We got quite a few babies that actually came out early of their little tunnels. So literally, they got brought down to us. So we actually did see a big influx after the floods of different animals coming into us.
Mate, that's cool. Now, we've got quite a few episodes we're shooting here at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, and we're going to have the man, Mr. Rory, coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's going to be showing me around in different parts of the park.
He will, mate. Rory, there is not much that Rory doesn't know or can't tell you about the sanctuary and all the animals that are in here, so he's really good. I mean, our logo here is, or our tagline is, more Australian, more natural, more fun, and Rory pretty much embodies all of those ethos inside of what he can tell you today. So,
mate, that's what it's all about. Pete the Surfaroo, a real Aussie show, giving you guys exposure out there. Guys out there, hopefully you can send in some donations to these guys here too. Mate, it's a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Don't go away, guys, because we've got Rory coming up next, and we're going to go check out the park. See you soon.
Brisbane, Perth, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Alice, to the south high mountains of snow, to the southern beaches of the Gulf, to bring out the real Australian in all of you. It's the truth. Surf the truth and dig the surf.
It's not all about being in front of the camera, it's about training, looking good, solid, mean, and ready for you guys. It's all happening. Take the Surfaroo all the way. Yeah.
Hey guys, and we're back again. Rory, how are you, mate?
How are you? Good, mate.
Now, Rory from Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary is going to be our guide over all these episodes. Now, mate, what are we going to see today?
Oh, mate, we've got heaps of things we're going to show you. We're going to show you some koalas, some kangaroos, crocodiles, the hospital, some of the good work we do there. But, we're just going to show you all the amazing features that Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary has to offer.
Now, we've got heaps and heaps of animals to see, as Greg has told us before.
Yeah.
And, of course, today's special one's going to be koalas, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to introduce you to some very cute and cuddly koalas.
How long have you had the koalas at the park?
Oh, the koalas have been at the sanctuary for probably more than 20 years. So they've been here for a long time. We've got a really big amount of them. We've got about 60 koalas on park.
Wow.
So there's a lot of koalas, but we're going to introduce you to some very cool ones today.
Well, I can't wait to catch up with these koalas and actually really hold one too.
Yeah. Should be great. So we're going to introduce you to Teresa. She's our koala handler here today, and she's going to introduce you to some very cool things about koalas.
Oh, that sounds great. Don't go away, guys. We're going to see a real Aussie animal here, koala, right after this. guys, and we're back here with the koalas with Teresa. Teresa, how are you?
Hey, going good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Now you've got an unreal job working with these Australian wildlife animals, koala bears. Now can you tell us a little bit about these cute little guys?
Well, koalas do sleep 18 to 20 hours a day, so they only have 5% energy in their diet. They are our most expensive animals to take care of here at the sanctuary. So for each koala we keep here, we do have to plant 50 trees to keep them going throughout the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now this is only a little fella?
Yeah, Kalani's just under a year old. These guys will separate from their mom in the wild right about this age. So Kalani's just been starting to learn to come out and interact with people. Eventually she's going to be coming out for up to half an hour a day to do photos with our customers. Koalas only exist on the east coast of Australia. Because of development, we're killing off koalas very quickly in the wild. The estimates show that within 20 years, koalas won't exist in the wild at all. So without protecting the koala's habitat, we're not going to have these guys around for too much longer. In the wild, the biggest killers are cars and dogs at the moment. So the more rural development that's introduced puts a lot of barriers in between these guys and their food sources, and it puts them in danger.
Now Teresa, just say for instance someone's got heaps of trees in the backyard, gum trees, and they find this koala that's injured, or even if it's in its backyard and it looks like it's malnutrition, what do they do?
So you can call Wildcare. Your local wildlife hospital, Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, has a beautiful wildlife hospital, or 1-300-ANIMAL. So any of those lines should be able to get hold of somebody that's available 24 hours a day.
Oh, that sounds cool. Hey, is there any chance so I could hold a little fella?
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
So just pop your hands together for it.
Okay.
And you just need to stay nice and still there.
Sure. How's that, guys? A real Aussie animal. I'm just holding a koala bear here. It is unreal. They are pretty cute. Now I've heard they can get a bit mean sometimes too, eh, with their little claws.
Yeah, well, koalas by nature are solitary animals, so this kind of behavior is not natural for a koala. It's in their nature to be frightened of any kind of animal, humans included. So they do have strong bites, and they have some decent little claws on them. You don't want to try to catch up a wild koala unless it looks quite injured. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's best, of course, always to call for help before you attempt to catch them up. So if you do need to catch an animal on the side of the road, having a towel or a blanket to put over the animal's head is always a good idea. And you, of course, always want to keep the claws and the teeth pointed away from your body.
Wow, that's really helpful information there, Teresa. Thanks for letting me hold Mr. Koala here, the little baby. Oops, she doesn't want to go.
Good on your daddy.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that little segment there. Very interesting. And we're going to move on in our Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary here. More things to see. Thanks a lot there, Teresa. It was a real pleasure. Thank you. Hey guys, how are you? Check this out. We have got one of the largest crocs I've ever seen in my life, maybe in the world. And check it out. It doesn't look that big here now with my fingers pointing at it just right here, as you can see in the background. But our mate Rory, Mr. Guide of the Wildlife Currumbin Bird Sanctuary, is going to tell us a bit about the info on this big, mean crocodile. Wow.
All right, Peter, I'd like to introduce you to a good friend of mine. This is Holy, and Holy here is a 40-year-old saltwater crocodile. At the moment, Holy sits at what we estimate to be about 5 metres, a little over 5 metres in length. We also estimate our friend Holy here to be about 1,000 kilos, so about a tonne in weight. The reason I say estimate is, again, no one's brave enough to go and chuck him on a set of scales yet, so he's quite a big boy. And as Greg may have explained a little earlier, he is from Edward River Crocodile Farm. He lives here by himself at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary and will do for the remainder of his life, Pete. The only reason being is he doesn't really like girls too much. He's destined to be a solo inhabitant in this enclosure, and that's just how he likes it. He's very, very territorial, especially being a male crocodile. They are naturally a territorial animal, so he will live inside this enclosure and defend that water's edge as much as he possibly can. So for us, it's quite a danger for us to go in there. We do go in there and feed him. We also have to keep the enclosure maintenance up as well, so mowing and pruning can be quite a tricky situation, but it's something we do with a lot of caution, and you know, we have a lot of procedures in place to ensure that our safety is upheld. But saltwater crocodiles found throughout the top third of Australia. Pretty lucky here on the Gold Coast we don't have them living naturally, so you can only find them in the top third of Australia. But in the top third of Australia, they live in pretty much any waterway as well. Saltwater crocodile doesn't mean they just live in salt water. They can live in both fresh and salt water as well. So, you know, if you are anywhere in the top third of Australia, just ensure that you do stay well away from those waterways and adhere to a lot of the signs and safety signals you see in those environments.
Now, Rory, I was just going to ask you briefly, now this big fella, what does he actually eat? I mean, he must have a big hunger.
Yeah, look, Pete, it can be pretty easily summed up in one word, and that's everything.
Okay, so does he eat like chickens and like big animals that you throw in there, or just meat from the butchers, or what?
Yeah, look, we feed him most stuff you buy from the average butcher. We feed him chicken, we also get rabbit. Every now and again we'll get wild pig as well.
Gee, amazing. Big stuff. Now, like you said, I wouldn't want to go in there. Maybe with my surfboard, paddle around him a bit, and then get him to tow me out to the back of the surf there. I think he might do all right. He shouldn't have any problems towing me out, I reckon.
No, he probably wouldn't have any trouble towing you under either. So
yeah, that's it, mate. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you on this one, mate. I hope you learned some stuff out there, and for all those fishermen out there, you know, going up north and going fishing in those crazy rivers, watch out for these big crocs, because they do exist and they might get you one day. And if they do, that'll be it. Well, it's me signing off here. See you later, Croc. Until next time. Woo!
Coming soon.
Entertainment Plus presents Pete the Surfaroo. Welcome everybody. What you're about to see is a real true blue Australian family viewing visual series with interviews, fun-packed light-hearted humour, learning experiences, and it's all full of laughs. Unbelievable interviews and stories, spills, energy and adrenaline pumping, featuring sports, celebs, health, renos, competitions, great locations, heaps of nature and wildlife, detective stories, special events and heaps more.
Hey guys, and we're back again. Some more Australian animals. Mr. Rory, now mate, can you tell us a bit about these lovable animals?
yeah, beautiful. So at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary we've got our kangaroo paddock. So you can come down and you can actually feed our kangaroos. So we've got two different types of kangaroo in here. We've got the red kangaroo and we've got the grey kangaroo, and if you include three we've got a surfaroo as well.
That's a good match there, mate. Well done, mate, well done. Now he's just having a bit of an itch there, mate, eh? Must have a few fleas, eh?
Oh, look, they don't really get fleas or lice or anything like that, but they have a nice scratch around. They love rolling in the dirt and whatnot, so,
yeah.
You know, they'll definitely try and rub as much as they can in their skin.
Mate, their lifestyle's pretty sort of relaxed, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cush, eh? You know, they've got a a pretty good life here. People come through all day long and feed them food, and they've got a bit of a rest area up the back here, so they can get away from all the people if they want to. But they've got a pretty good life in here.
In the wild, are they normally aggressive animals or not really?
Look, in the wild, they're an animal I definitely wouldn't try and approach. You wouldn't get anywhere near as close as you can with these guys out there in the wild. They've got more of a fear of humans in the wild than anything else. But if you get too close to them, they can definitely become quite aggressive, and they're a dangerous animal. If they kick you really hard, it can cause a fairly large amount of damage and serious injuries.
So just say, for instance, I'm driving out back, as we have done in our show, and we spot a female that's been run over. Is it wise to check and see if they've got babies?
Oh, look, it definitely is. The only reason being is obviously if the parent's dead, and then there's going to be no milk flowing through the teats and whatnot. If you do find one, definitely check in the pouch, get a shirt, wrap it up in a shirt, and bring it into someone like our hospital. Yep. And they'll be able to help you out with hand rearing it, or we'll take it off you and hand rear it and look after it ourselves. Yeah.
Mate, just for the viewers out there, there's a lot of people that if they do find one and it's late at night and there's nowhere to take them, they end up saying, let's feed it some milk. Now, I've heard milk's not the way to go.
No, absolutely not. If you ever actually, do find a kangaroo and you've got, overnight and you can't actually find a vet or anything to take it to, I'd basically recommend you wouldn't feed it anything at all. All right.
I've got another one of my mates coming over here. Do they peck? I've been pecked by one of them before.
Have you?
Yeah. We did one out at an emu farm, and he got me a good one on the arm.
Oh, really?
How's it going there, mister? My name's Pete from Surfaroo.
So this is Humphrey. Humphrey's the resident emu. We've got a few of them here, but Humphrey's definitely one of our more friendly emus. He's actually a male emu, so he's a bit of a character. He loves to come up and say hello to all the guests. Most guests are probably pretty scared of emus, but this guy here is pretty nice. He's pretty cozy. He loves to take a bit of food out of your hands, as you can see. But we've got a few emus here at the sanctuary. We do a bit of breeding as well, so we get eggs every now and again from our emus.
Well, viewers, I hope you learned a bit of info there from our pro here, Mr. Rory. Some helpful information out there if you do come across an injured kangaroo, wallaby or whatever. Yep. Bring him into the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. They'll look after him if you can. And if it's an overnight thing, make sure you don't feed him milk and do as you can. It's great speaking to you again, mate. Great kangaroos out here, all relaxed, taking it easy. It's a good lifestyle. This is Australia, mate. Cool. Rory, mate, this is a pretty big park. We've been walking for ages.
Yeah, look, it takes a while to get around. It spans across two sides of a Gold Coast highway. And there's obviously a lot to maintain there as well.
Mate, I'm really excited about our next one here, mate. What are we going to go see?
Yeah, mate, we're going to go see the Tassie Devils.
Gee, now, a lot of people out there have never seen the Tassie Devil. I don't even know much about them. They're sort of tucked away on the shelf, and not many people know about them, eh?
Yeah, mate, they're a bit of a recluse, but we're going to go touch base with Sarah. She's our senior mammal teacher, and she's going to give us a great insight into Tassie Devils.
Mate, I'm looking forward to it.
Coming up next time on Pete the Surfaroo.
Carrion feeders, so they feed on dead things and anything they can get their hands on. They'll chew up people's washing off the washing line and so forth. There's been cases known where someone's washed out the whole footy team's jerseys, hung them over the veranda, and every single one of them had ended up in a devil's belly.
Such a tough animal. Definitely
a bite would be an issue for them. There's not that many venomous snakes in Tasmania either.
Used to an echidna, and a lovely friend of mine, Lindy, she's going to tell us all about it.
It has a soft shell like a snake's egg, not a hard shell like a chicken's egg. Now she lays this into a temporary pouch on the underside of her belly.
Now this is a true Australian native animal.
She knows all about frogs.
Yep. But where's our nice little froggies going?
Pete, well, we've got over 200 frog species in Australia today, and in Queensland alone, we've got just over 100.
Now this is where all the animals are brought.
Yep.
She's only a baby. She'd be feeding, she'd be suckling off her mum. But in hospital we have to replace her food. They extend out their arms and they use them, it's like a wing, to direct themselves, and so they can go quite far distances.
That's amazing, eh?
We get these little guys brought in because they fall out of their nest